go ahead and, nope, let's call F&A committee together. If city clerk will note attendance, and as a part of that, I motion to excuse Councilman Johnson. He informed me prior to meeting he would not be available tonight. Any objection?
No.
All right, we'll note him as a excused, excuse me. All right, let's move on to agenda approval. Any changes or questions in regards to the agenda? I have none, I'm good. All right, we'll go with the agenda as presented. All right, public comments, anybody in the committee room wishing to make public comment? Staff can make public comment too, but never mind. All right, seeing nobody, we'll move on. We'll go to the minutes, the approval of the minutes dated October 22nd, 2024. I have no questions or revisions.
Nope.
All right, unless there are objections, we'll take the minutes as approved. Minutes are approved. We'll move on to claims and warrants. Consideration of claims report dated November 12th, 2024. I've received no questions or comments within email from other council members, and chair has no questions or in regards to the warrants. Do you have any?
Nope.
Nope. All right. So with that, we'll take the claims report dated November 12th, 2024 as presented, as approved, and move that on to council and consent agenda. All right, let's move into agenda bills. Meadowbrook Farm, docent services memorandum of understanding.
Good evening, council members. You have before you the third and last final installment of the structure for Meadowbrook Farms. You may recall last year, the city did an interlocal agreement with the city of North Bend and city of Snoqualmie. You also did a maintenance agreement, and this document is the last one. It's a memorandum of understanding. And the purpose of the MOU is to formalize the terms and conditions under which Meadowbrook Farm Preservation Association would be able to provide docent services to Meadowbrook Farm. So these include such things as educational programming. You can see that there's a small budgetary item associated with this agenda bill that allows them to facilitate the programming. I don't have really any more information about this, but I'd be happy to answer any questions. Hopefully you have read through the attachment.
I guess the only part I'm confused about is why do I have a memo of understanding under docents versus I have a memo of understanding of the city's overall contribution to the farm? Docent seems to be a bit deep in the weeds for us to be on the farm. I mean, there's a structure in place where you and another council member sit on the board and you decide how that's going to function and what are the budgetary responsibilities back to the individual cities. From that standpoint, I'm now confused. How am I now doing a separate action for docents?
Separate budget for docents?
Yeah. Why is that not just rolled into the overall budget commitment, and that's what we, the council, would be asked to approve or modify or whatever?
Mayor Ross has.
So there's two things. So one would be for maintenance and operations, and that's who we have with Skyview Metro Parks District is maintaining it. So there's a certain amount that they will come forward that we budgeted for, and that's reimbursement only. And this is if there's any educational programs that they have. So in the agreement, it states we will pay $3,000 per city to help pay for like their liability insurance and some of the basic things. This is the same organization that's been running Meadowbrook for the last 25 years. And so it's removing them from going out and mowing as part of volunteering. It's just allowing them to do what we've always wanted them to do with, providing education. So there's, the revenue component for them is now gone because that is actually used by Snoqualmie Parks District for maintenance of the area. So they do have a budget. But this just requires us to do $3,000 per year.
Oh, I know, the money amount is
And then
not
they
an
need
issue.
to provide, if they need additional funding, then they have to provide more information regarding that.
So next year, will this be rolled into the overall budget? Or will we have another MOU extension next year for docents? Or is this a multi-year
This is
MOU?
5-year. And then it would be extended. It continues unless there's termination, but it's 5 years.
I'm just, I don't want an MOU for every line item coming out of Meadowbrook Farm. But this is not an amount that I'm gonna get tweaked about. Understand the concern. There's structure in place to minister the farm. I don't think the council needs to get that deep into it, nor should you let them. What would you do if we said no to docents? You should.
Then I'll let you go talk to the chair.
Mary Norton.
She would not be very happy.
Understood. So,
So this
again,
is
there ought
kind
to
of,
be a budget, and the administrative board and all should manage the farm within that budget. If there are additions to it, there should be changes that come back to us, yes, but then it should be rolled back in under the budget. And I don't want to, partially diluting the authority of that board by doing this, in my opinion. But again, docents, yes, go for it. I'm not arguing what's happening. I'm just arguing the way in which it's being carried out. But I'm happy to move this forward and put it on consent and still sleep at night.
On a good note, I can say they successfully executed their first trial of a educational program in the spring. So that was coordinated with the Snoqualmie Valley School District, where school-age children could come throughout the day at staged time periods and experience, the beauty of Meadowbrook Farm, the cultural, the agricultural, the animal part of it, the fauna and flora, and lots of other things.
Concerns, comments,
In paragraph 4.1, under duration modification, I was just a little bit surprised to see it says the agreement will be or shall be in effect from blah, blah, blah to December 31st of 2029. Thereafter, the agreement shall automatically renew for an additional 1-year period. And it said cost of living financial revision likely needed prior to or before renewal. I was just a little bit thrown by the fact that it said cost of living financial revision. It seems like weird kind of boilerplate template language. So I didn't know if that was intentional or not.
I think some of there was concern was we were limiting to the $3,000. Let's see. Let me find where it is. I think they were just looking for like some type of inflation factor for
The bookkeeper.
liability
yeah.
insurance and stuff that we're committing to.
Just seemed like odd
The cost
terminology to use there.
Yeah.
why isn't this why isn't this a revision to the overall MOU we have with Meadowbrook Farm
That's a good,
versus a separate item?
that's a good question. I don't have an answer to that, but I'm happy to look into
Well,
it.
so the structure has changed. I presented that last year with the ILA. So you have the governing body advisory, and then we have a contract with Sivy Metro Parks District, and then with Meadowbrook MFPA, so the Preservation Association, which is its own 501(c). And so we're just created an MOU with them versus having them under our umbrella. Because we're not happy with,
So, but isn't there an overall legal entity managing Meadowbrook Farm?
so we're the governing body, the cities, yes. And then we have a contract with Sivy for maintenance of the fields and rental and all that. So they're doing a lot of what the Preservation Association used to do. And now we're stating that they will just do education.
Haven't you read, you went through that paragraph, my concern is, how many Meadowbrook Farm MOUs am I going to have? With these automatic extension, and I'm not sure I understand the cost of living implication in here. Okay, I'm just, understand my concern. I'm looking for Meadowbrook Farm, not docents, land
Maintenance.
or land maintenance, whatever else. How many?
There's no more after this. This is the third leg of the stool. So the governing document kind of sets the framework. Skyview Parks District will do the maintenance, the mowing and making sure there's fuel in the tractor and all of that. And the docents will establish their long desired educational program and bring school age children in and cultivate an awareness of the unique qualities of this place and hopefully instill long-standing tradition of how to take care of it, as they grow up and appreciate it.
Would you, anything? Sorry, I keep.
No, you're fine. It is a little bit convoluted in the way that it's structured, but if that's the way that it needs to be, then it's fine.
I'm not gonna.
And just for the sake of clarification, I am happy that there is a docent project and that they will be educating the children going forward. I think everybody's in agreement with that. Thank you.
Yeah, the city of Snoqualmie took a lead on making sure that docent program got off the ground, just with some legwork that the CD department did with the chair of the Preservation Association. So we wrapped in, a curriculum educator at the district, the school district, who helped parallel what kind of credits could be available, and how to form the content for the school age children. So it is a part of an accredited program that they can experience live, in an actual live setting, not in a classroom.
That's great.
Mhm.
Okay, move that one forward to council.
so it's part of consent.
At this stage, yeah. You're okay with the consent? All right, let's move on to Agenda Bill 24-111, appointment of city hearing examiner.
Yes, that's me again. So after several years of service, our existing hearing examiner has departed from the city, and staff went out to search for a new hearing examiner, and we found a suitable hearing examiner, Mr. Sorter of Laminar Law PLCC, to serve as a hearing examiner pursuant to SMC 2.14.030. And attached is a statement of qualifications and fee proposal, as well as a contract. So we're asking the Finance and Administration Committee to consider recommending the mayor's signature on an approval of this contract.
This would still come. On the agenda to come. Is that under appointments? I don't see it.
Currently
Did I
it's
miss
under
it?
the committee reports, but it could be under appointments, or it could be.
Appointments would be a good spot for it.
appointments.
Well, but there's basically a contract in here. It's not just an appointment to a board or whatever. There's a contract in here, so I'm not, it's more than an appointment.
It's under CD. Did it come through CD as well?
Yeah, well, there's it is. It's under CD. That's why I can't find it. On the, at least the council agenda here, it's under Community Development Committee.
I can move it.
Did CD discuss it?
I don't know why it's under C. Probably because Emily's associated with it.
Probably is.
I might overworked.
Again, I don't see it just as an appointment because there's an underlying contract and signed agreement.
Sure.
And also because the same reason there's a contract underlining agreement. Yeah, let's move it up under FNA. And although it could, I'm not thrilled, just because it is a contract, and all that, keep it, I'm not moving it to consent, if you're okay.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, let's move that one forward again under FNA. Take that to council. Do we still have time to, hang on a second. Can we change the title to be professional services agreement?
Want appointment and approval?
If you want, I'm happy, just the main thing from our standpoint, from the council standpoint, there's a professional services agreement here,
Sure.
so. All right, thank you. Otherwise, why are we messing with appointments down there? All right, with that, let's move on to Agenda Bill 24-105, certifying an increase in property tax. And I assume Agenda Bill 106, property tax levy, kind of go hand in hand.
Good evening. I am here to discuss both of those ordinances, and agenda bills. I do have a presentation for you tonight, but I realize that you've both seen it at least once, probably many, many times. So I'm happy to present it tonight if you're interested, or I can just present it to council, and maybe just show you the three most important slides about what's changing for this year. So I don't know if you have a preference or,
I'd go for the 3 slides.
okay, I'll do that. Let's see here.
I mean, I don't intend to have in-depth conversation here. This is a council decision.
May I share my screen?
You okay?
Sorry about
Coffee a bit strong.
that. Struggling with life today. Okay, so as you are all familiar, and as we presented in the budget earlier, we are hoping to do our maximum increase for property taxes, which is the 1% that's allowable. This year, that equates to a $77,000 increase, which after we do the math that King County requires, that the levy calculation requires, it comes down to 0.89%. So that also includes $7,000 in new construction. It includes $15,000 in refunds, and then we have a $91,000 in utility value. That is not likely to come to pass, that utility value. That's something that we find out after we have to submit these ordinances, but we put it in there just in case the state assessed utility values change so that we don't miss that.
Right, we
So
don't claim to
essentially,
get
it's a $77,000 increase across the city. What that means is our regular levy rate with those rates that I just showed you would decrease 1 cent to $1.81 per $1,000 of assessed value. And as you can see from this, our assessed value across the city did go up slightly, about $0.1 billion. And then the third slide that I'm showing you is how this affects a homeowner within the city. For every $500,000 of home value, property taxes will go up almost $8 for the year. So you can see if you own a $1 million home, your property taxes related to Snoqualmie would go up approximately $15.73. Of course, this isn't perfectly calculable because rates fluctuate, whether you did an addition or whether, depending on where your home is located. So not every homeowner will see an exactly 0.89% increase, but that's the average that they'll see across the city. And that really, those are the 3 slides of what's changing for property taxes. And I'll probably do the full presentation in front of city council, but that's where we are tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, let's move. One of them is. Oh, they're both ordinances? I thought one was an ordinance, the other one wasn't. But okay. We'll do those both under ordinances and keep them, I like it that way, keeps them together. All right. That upcoming agenda items are informational only, amending the 2023-24 budget. This is licensed B&O, and let's go ahead and review the council agenda. I think in the last meeting, we shortened up the roundtable to be starting at 6:30. To talk utility rates. Adjournment at 7 o'clock, we'll start the regular agenda approval, public hearing, certifying increase in property tax levy, public hearing. And then we'll have appointments, proclamations, Native American Heritage Month, and consent agenda, council minutes, claims report, and I think we moved up Meadowbrook into here. All right. Ordinance will have municipal code title 14 implementing Senate Bill S-290, and this will be second reading in action. School impact fees for 2025, second reading in action. And then we'll have certifying an increase in property taxes and property tax levy. Ordinance first reading, and we just reviewed those. All right. We've got public safety, you've got an interlocal agreement for King County Services.
Yep.
And then we'll have again, let's move that hearing examiner under F&A. And then we'll have Agenda Bill 2418, Workforce Housing Development Request for Qualifications. And that is for proposed action, Parks and Public Works. Wow, we did a lot of talking, but there was nothing in no agenda bills. All right, F&A will have the Meadowbrook Farm Docent Services.
No, that's consent.
No, that's up in consent, but we'll have the other one we pulled down, the hearing examiner. Okay, and committee of whole legislative priorities, let's keep that conversation going, and then into reports and executive session. I assume we'll decide at council whether the number, if any, of executive sessions we need. Okay, and from there, adjournment. Any other additions, anything I missed? All right, unless your objections, that'll be agenda for council. Hearing none, let's have it go through as such, and with that, we're in adjournment. You ready to adjourn?
Mhm.
You ready to adjourn?
Sure.